Hello everyone, Razorblade Mango here, and today I wanted to sit down and talk about the upcoming PlayStation Showcase. This is one of my absolute favorite videos to record. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to release the one that I recorded last year because PlayStation never did a showcase in 2022, but through reliable leakers, it's been known that PlayStation will have a showcase sometime before the traditional E3 time window, which is early June. So we can predict that this might happen late May, or maybe even the day before Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest thingy, whatever he does. So, I am actually recording this all the way in April. The date right now, it is April 4th as I'm recording this. And the reason I wanted to do this so well in advance is because I had a strong desire to actually talk about it. Because over the weekend, I went on like a 2-hour binge because I'm a big fucking dork. I combed through all the information that I had. I did my own research and I've compiled my list with things that I think realistically will be at the showcase, things that maybe have a chance to be there, things that I don't think will be there, and things that I wish with all my heart to be there, that I dream of being there. And the interesting thing about this showcase, before I get into the games, is that in the past I've talked about how PlayStation is a little bit of a mystery as far as what they could show off over the last few years, because that's basically what PlayStation has become. My favorite comparison to make of them is that they're basically like the Willy Wonka chocolate factory at this point. I've said this many times on the channel, where they hide away and you can see the lights on and you see the products that come out and you can experience them. But the gates are closed and you're hardly ever allowed to see what's going on inside the factory. But every once in a while, they'll open the gates, the crowds will come, and they'll be given a guided tour of what they have going on that's ready to be shown off. It's actually interesting that this year we might have an idea of what they're going to show. And I'll explain it when I get to the games, because we've had, several leaks. We've had whispers of it from the heads at some of these studios that you can expect certain things. There have been job openings, very publicly announced job openings for certain things that are in the works. So we have some idea of what PlayStation has in store for this showcase. But a word of caution that I want to put out there, especially because every time this happens with one of these showcases, people's expectations get wildly out of control. But I want to throw this in there as a caution to everybody. This is the showcase where I'm pretty sure there will be more emphasis on live services. I want people to go into this showcase. It's okay to be excited. It's okay to be looking forward to this. But I want people to go into this thinking, this is the one where we'll finally get to see some of the fruits of this new obsession that PlayStation has with live services. Don't forget, they want to have, I think the number was between 10 to 15 live services by 2025, 2026 out there. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be the one where they start showing the stuff they've got in the works. And another realistic and unfortunate aspect to this whole thing is that Sony has created a rather large uphill battle for itself against fan expectations. And at this stage of the game, they need to deliver an absolute banger of a showcase. This has got to be something like all killer, no filler. Anything less than hitting those lofty expectations will be a great disappointment to many people, including me. And this is the risk that PlayStation runs being silent for so damn long. This is the same shit they did in the gap between E3 2018 and then the big PlayStation 5 reveal in June of 2020. During the 2 years, the hype just kept building and building and building and building. And then I personally think The June 2020 PS5 showcase was great. They need something on that level, if not better. So, that being said, let's get into the games as far as realistically what I think will be there. First things first, I think Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will more than likely be here. Now, I can see this being its own dedicated state of play in mid-May or something along those lines. I can see that being a possibility as well. But I think there is a greater possibility of it being at this showcase because Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. This is gonna be one of those games that is a system seller. People, especially if they really stick to their guns and not fucking release this on PS4, please God, no more PS4 PlayStation Studios games. If this is on PS5, this thing is gonna sell units. It absolutely will. More than God of War Ragnarok, more than Ratchet & Clank, more than Gran Turismo. This is gonna be the one. Other things that I'm sure will be here, I'm sure The Last of Us Factions 2 will be here, whatever Naughty Dog ends up calling it. I don't know exactly how much we will see of it. I can imagine maybe a 2 to 3 minute trailer, but anything longer than that, I'd be a little surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see the rumored Twisted Metal game that they have in the works. Originally under development by Lucid Games, who of course did Destruction All-Stars. And then when Destruction All-Stars failed spectacularly, Sony said, nah, never mind, and they moved it to the recently acquired Firesprite. And I think even the director of Destruction All-Stars, or the director of Twisted Metal, while it was under Lucid's umbrella, jumped ship to Firesprite to continue working on Twisted Metal. There's just a lot of evidence out there that is supporting this is a thing that will get Twisted Metal from Firesprite. And I would not be surprised to see it here. Now, as far as what it could be, I don't know. I don't think it's going to have the same tone as the past Twisted Metal games because they probably want to keep it more in line with that goofy TV show from Peacock they have in the works. But we'll see. And I'm not really convinced that Firesprite was a wise purchase for PlayStation as far as quality is concerned. But hopefully this can be the one that convinces me. And again, I've already mentioned 2 live services right off the bat with this, with Factions 2 and Twisted Metal. So we're just getting started with the live services. I think we can expect to see Horizon there in some capacity, whether it's Zero Dawn remake, the rumored Zero Dawn remake that we've heard about, the multiplayer project, or more likely, I think the PC port of Forbidden West will be here. And whether it's under development from Guerrilla themselves or Nixxes, I don't know. But I think Horizon will be at this event in some capacity. It won't be Horizon 3, but it will be one of these other spin-off titles they've got in the works. And speaking of PC ports, I think this is where we're going to see Nixxes' next big PC port, PC project that they're going to be working on. I think it's either going to be out of like 3 things. I think it's either going to be Horizon Forbidden West, as I mentioned, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, or Ghost of Tsushima. My money, realistically, is either... I think it's more Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is going to be the one. Because there was a recent job post asking for people with experience with a specific kind of engine. And it's the engine that Insomniac used for Rift Apart. So I think it's Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart that they're working on. The other team that I think there's a decent chance that we could see something from them is Team Asobi, who has quickly risen among PlayStation's studios to be one of my personal favorites, because I really, really enjoyed Astrobot Rescue Mission when that was on PSVR, and I cannot put into words how much I adore Astro's Playroom. It goes without saying that I am very, very eager to see what they have next, and I hope it's something that is not a PSVR 2 game. I think it will be, because if they were to make something for PSVR 2, I think that would be a big system seller for them, because Team Asobi are so good with pretty much anything they touch. They're like wizards over there. them getting their hands on the PSVR and pushing that system to its limits as far as what it could do, I think that would be a very enticing purchase, especially for me. I would buy a PSVR 2 if they were to announce something for Team Asobi. Team Asobi said Astrobot Rescue Mission 2, PSVR 2. Boom, that's me. That's the game for me right there. But like I said, I would personally prefer to see a non-VR game from them, because I really do think they have the potential to create one of the greatest big fleshed out platformers of all time. I really think they have that potential. And one of my dream games is a Super Mario Odyssey styled game from them with Astrobot, where we get a full-on story, we get multiple worlds we can explore. I would love that. I think that would be incredible. That has the possibility to be the best game I have ever played. And I don't say that very lightly. That kind of thing has the possibility. It has the chance to top Kingdom Hearts 2 as my favorite game of all time. It might. As far as second-party teams, I think the big one that will obviously be there is going to be Helldivers 2 from Arrowhead, because that leaked last year. Before Sony nuked it off the internet, I actually saw a snippet of the trailer that got leaked, and it looked pretty damn real to me. So, Helldivers 2, this is going to be another one that's a live service for them. And this is, again, one of the ones I really don't mind, because Helldivers 1, from what I remember, was actually well loved by a lot of people. It was an interesting, hardcore co-op, top-down shooter, and people really dug it, and Arrowhead did a great job supporting it for many years. So they have that candor of supporting a game once it's out the door really fucking well. Another one that I think has a strong possibility of being here is Stellar Blade from Shift Up Core, which I think it looks very promising. I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure that will be here, considering PlayStation announced last year during their not their last State of Play, but the September State of Play, that they had officially taken on publishing duties for this game. Another one that I think has a decent possibility of being here is the multiplayer project from Firewalk Studios. This is the one that they publicly said that we are working with PlayStation as a publishing partner. It will be under PlayStation Studios, and it will be a multiplayer project. So again, this is another live service, but I am curious to see what they could do with this, because a lot of the people involved come from things like Destiny and Call of Duty and Mass Effect, and I'm curious to see what they could do. Another one that I'm sure will be here is Firewall Ultra from First Contact Entertainment. Now again, another live service, but Firewall 0 Hour, I think that's what it's called, was one of the more popular games on PlayStation VR. This is another studio like Arrowhead. First Contact did a great job supporting the first Firewall game. They did seasons for like years. I was shocked that they were still supporting it when I kept seeing blog posts for it. So again, they're like Arrowhead, where they've set that precedent of being capable of supporting a game long term. And the other second party game that I think might be here is Convallaria, which is one of the Chinese games that they have in development that they're publishing with, which is from Luong Force. It's some like third person shooter loot Destiny style thing. I'm not particularly interested in it, but it might be here. It'd be smart for it to be here so it could get exposure to a large audience. Now, as far as third party things go, this is one where I'm not entirely sure. I've written down some things that I think are obvious picks, but PlayStation have been known in the last few years to really surprise me with choosing which studios and which big third-party AAA publishers get they get the marketing rights for their games. Like, I was surprised that they wanted to get in bed with Suicide Squad to Kill the Justice League, and yeah, that didn't really turn out very well for them. Same thing with Forspoken from Square Enix, which I still to this day cannot understand what they saw in that. Unless they got that exclusivity for very, very cheap, I don't know what they saw in Forspoken that would make them want to partner up with it, but there you go. So, I think Final Fantasy 16 will be here. I think they'll want to put out another trailer for it. Just again to remind people, hey, we have Final Fantasy 16. It's exclusive to PS5 for 6 months. Please buy it. Please buy a PS5 for it. Thank you. So they'll do that, and I more than likely will not watch it when the time comes. I'll just look away. I'll just take my earphones off, and I'll just like cover my eyes because I don't want to see any more of Final Fantasy 16. I've seen enough, and Square Enix has a really bad habit of spoiling things in their trailers the closer we get to launch for some of their games. I think Silent Hill 2 will be here, the remake from Bloober Team. I don't know how much we'll get to see from this, but it's going to be, again, this is another big get for PlayStation where I think they have a year of console exclusivity for Silent Hill 2, where it's going to simultaneously release on PS5 and PC, but it will not be on Xbox for a full year. So this is one of their ones that were like, whoa, we're proud to partner with Konami and Bloober Team. Yeah, we get it. You bought timed exclusivity, console exclusivity. We fucking get it, Sony. So I'm sure it will be here. Tekken 8, they've been going big on Tekken 8 right now. Bandai Namco. They've been putting out trailers left, right, and center for it. There was a press preview of it last week at the time of recording this. So this is a big thing for PlayStation, especially since it ties in to their newfound, dedication to tournaments, especially since Oni now co-owns EVO. This is a big thing for them. This is like Street Fighter 6. Tekken 8 is one of those where it could be fucking huge when it comes out. It's actually going to be fucking huge when it comes out. So they'll want to show off probably a release date at this showcase. They'll want to show off new characters. Something will be there from Tekken 8, I'm sure. Now, as far as the indie games go from third party, I'm sure we'll see Eternights there, which is that Persona-looking game from Studio Sai, because Sony has a timed console exclusivity agreement with them, and we haven't gotten a release date for it. I'm sure Pacific Drive will be there, which is another timed console exclusive for them from Ironwood Studios. I'm sure Viewfinder will be there, which is from Sad Owl Studios, which this is another one that they have timed console exclusivity for. Now, with PlayStation, the thing that I've learned with PlayStation though is that it's to expect the unexpected when it comes to who they wish to partner up with for certain things. And this is why my maybe category is a little big for them. And this is a mix of games that I know they have an interest in, or I know that they have timed exclusivity for. I think there's a decent chance that upcoming Avatar game from Ubisoft will be here because it was revealed, I think, 2 years ago, maybe almost 2 years ago, that PlayStation has marketing rights to it. I don't know if something like Sin Duality from Bandai Namco will be here because that was revealed at not the last State of Play, but again, the September one. Pragmata has just fallen off the face of the earth from Capcom. I have no idea what's going on with that. I don't know if that's going to be here. Another one that fell off the face of the earth, Little Devil Inside from NeoStream. I have no fucking idea where that is. As far as things from their own studios or stuff they have under their own umbrella, I think Wolverine might... there's a maybe chance only to show off another CG trailer to reveal some of the characters. I think it's way too early for us to see gameplay, but they might do a CG trailer to reveal at least who's voicing Logan. I think we might see the Ballistic Moon project that's been an open secret right now. Ballistic Moon is a brand new studio, and they're rumored to be working on a survival horror game for PlayStation. Ballistic Moon is comprised of a lot of people formerly that worked at Supermassive Games, who of course did Until Dawn, who are working on the Dark Pictures thing, who recently released Switchback for PSVR 2. So that might be interesting. Bluepoint Games. This is an interesting one because I don't know if they're ready to show off stuff yet. Maybe they might be ready, but the reason I'm hesitant is because it was revealed that they had cooperated with Sony Santa Monica on working on God of War Ragnarok, getting that out the door with stuff. I don't know to what extent they helped out Sony Santa Monica with God of War Ragnarok. And I wonder how much time and manpower that took away from their next project after Demon's Souls Remake. It's open knowledge that they are working on original content. That is what Herman Holtz said when Bluepoint was acquired a couple years ago. So I don't know if they're going to be here. There's a chance, but we'll see. And the last thing from PlayStation that might be here, maybe Lost Soul aside. I think there's two games actually that I can think of when I think of maybe that are under PlayStation 2, like a second party capacity. It's Lost Soul aside or Rise of the Ronin. One of those two might be here. And I think it might be Lost Soul aside because Lost Soul aside is one of those that needs a showcase at some point in an American, like a big worldwide PlayStation broadcast. We've already had one for Rise of the Ronin, because Rise of the Ronin got a big showing at the State of Play back in September. So I don't think it needs it yet. But Lost Soul aside, I think does, because this is a game that has been out there in the ether for so fucking long that I think people have kind of gone, okay, like, whatever. But this is a game that more than likely will be coming out 2024, maybe early 2025. It needs some kind of showcase. As far as what I don't think will be here, I don't think we're going to see projects from the likes of Ben Studio, or Haven, or Housemarque, or London, or Sony Santa Monica, or Sucker Punch. Beyond Horizon, something. I don't think we'll see any more from Guerrilla. I don't think we're going to see that rumored survival horror game from Firesprite, nor the rumored open world game from Sumo Digital. Death Stranding 2 I don't think will be here. I think that's way too soon, and even if they were to show it again, I think it'll be at the Game Awards this year. They'll do another CG trailer or something from Kojima. Kojima will make something. I think it's too early to show off the Deviation Games project that is rumored to be a like single player or multiplayer live service kind of thing. I don't think beyond Silent Hill we're going to see anything from other Konami stuff like Metal Gear or Castlevania. And the rest, I don't know. It's interesting beyond this point because once I lay out some of the realistic things that I think will be there really isn't much that I can think of that we'll see. And I think even just going by the realistic things that I've talked about, that's a big show. Just looking at the list of stuff that I put down as far as realistic from both, from first party, second party, third party, that's a big show. That would be a big win in my book if they were to have all of those games that I talked about there. Now, as far as the dream games, and I always like to put out 5. So the obvious one is Bloodborne 2, which I'm like, come on guys, like this is the one that people want. It's frustrating that we haven't gotten this yet. And the dream idea would be a collaboration between From Software and Bluepoint. You could get all the ideas from Software, all the art design, all the design aspect of it, and then give it to Bluepoint for the technical implementation. The next dream game would be Sly Cooper 5 or something Sly Cooper. Like, come on guys, Sly Cooper is just waiting there. He's just sad. He's just sitting there on the bench. He's a bench warmer at this point. Sly Cooper's a bench warmer. And Sony ain't doing shit with him. So I think it's time that we have something from Sly Cooper. And the next one that would be a dream project of mine to see would be, and this is probably going to surprise some people, would be PlayStation Home, which I think PlayStation Home was well ahead of its time when it came out on the PS3. And I really enjoyed PlayStation Home back then. That was the metaverse before metaverses became a thing. And I really do think that if PlayStation were to swallow their pride and make a PlayStation Home for both 2D and PSVR 2, I think this game would be an absolute beast of an experience. To me, it's like the obvious thing. It's like Bloodborne 2 and PlayStation Home are the obvious, easy wins for PlayStation. The next dream game would be a brand new JRPG IP from PlayStation. And it doesn't have to be this massive open world, big budget thing. Just keep it focused on art style over raw graphical detail. Get Level 5 involved again. You know, they're starting to release their stuff on Western shores again. Get involved with them. They're great. Level 5 are an amazing studio. They could do it. Give them another chance. And speaking of Level 5, the final thing that I would really want, and I don't think PlayStation has much control over this, but this would be a Square Enix thing, an HD remaster of Dragon Quest VIII. Dragon Quest VIII, before 11 came along, was my favorite Dragon Quest game. I loved Dragon Quest VIII, and I'd love to play it again in proper HD. They don't have to fuck with the graphics too much. Just make it in proper HD, give it trophy support, just clean it up a little bit, bring some of the improvements that you did for the 3DS version, bring it here, bring an orchestrated score in here, and it could be a fucking masterpiece. Just do it, Square Enix. Here it is. This is the big PlayStation Showcase predictions video that I like to do every year. I hope you all enjoyed it. And thank you all to everyone who watched. Thank you all who subscribed. Thank you all to who just check my stuff out. And as always, I am Razorblade Mango. Thank you all so very much for watching. And I'll see you all next time.